Two wealthy women found dead in Florida after the Mercedes rolls off a ferry, leaving exclusive island. Wow. How would you like to know that your epithet is that you were wealthy? Not your name, not all the work you've done your whole life, just you had a bunch of money. Oh well, life goes on. Two wealthy women found dead in Florida after Mercedes rolls off a ferry, leaving exclusive island. Curiouser and curiouser. Two socialites were found dead inside a submerged blue Mercedes Benz that rolled off a ferry, taking them from an exclusive island community to mainland Miami Beach, investigators said Wednesday. Oh, now we get their names. Sadness for their family. Emma Afra, 63, who lives, I'm not sure that's accurate anymore, in Miami Beach, was identified as the driver. And 75-year-old Vivian Brahms of Harrison, New York, as the passenger, Miami-Dade police said. Now, these were not very young women, but still, driving off of a ferry into the ocean seems an odd choice of paths. Crews from the U.S. Coast Guard and Miami-Dade Fire and Rescue responded to calls of the submerged vehicle in the area. The government cut. Interesting name. A shipping channel between Miami Beach and Fisher Island around 5 p.m. Tuesday, the agency said. After multiple searches, the drivers located the Mercedes and two deceased females inside, police said in the news release, before officially releasing the victims' identities. The Coast Guard investigating the car... Okay, let's see. This is the curiouser part. The Coast Guard is investigating how the car fell from the front of the ferry and plunged into the water. So, yeah, there's so many questions there. Police did not release the cause of death, which is pending medical examiner reports. So I guess they're thinking maybe they didn't drown. Maybe there was some kind of at least possibility of a suicide beforehand. Don't know. How many times do you hear about cars driving off of a perfectly working ferry? It's not a common experience. Oh, here's their little sassing about the income. Fisher Island was named the richest zip code in the U.S. in 2019. Afra resided there, posh, according to local reports, and had appeared at numerous high-profile events over the years. This is how she's remembered. In 2012, Afra co-chaired the event for Christie House, a non-profit. Finally, they get to the stuff that she worked for. Non-profit advocates to end child abuse and child sex trafficking, also known as slavery in the rest of the world, helping to raise $500,000 for child victims, according to the organization. Okay. Now, what do you do if you find yourself in this situation and you're not a suicide? Let's take a look. Because it turns out, crashing into water, it happens a lot. This story from ABC News talks about how it happens in floods for people that drive into streams and they're whisked away. It happens in tsunamis. It happens in people, oh my gosh, driving into backyards and crashing into the pool. I've known of 2 cases where people drove into swimming pools, not on purpose, and they drowned in their car in somebody else's swimming pool. That's going to be hard to explain at pearly gates. So let's see what ABC has to help you with.
Here's the headline you must remember. You have to get out of the car before it sinks. That means you likely have under a minute to get out. Speed.
That's not very long. You've got 60 seconds to have this worked out. So you need to practice this in real life, or at least in your brain, over and over and over. Because 60 seconds, when the car is going underwater, yeah. The worst thing you could do is take time to call 911, which is what they were just playing, is a call of a person doing a 911. You got 60 seconds. You need to start getting out of there, and here's how you do it. And it's gotten a lot more complicated with all electric cars, as in no more hand crank windows and no more hand lifting locks. When they took those away, going underwater is almost guaranteed a suicide mission, but we will provide you some ways that you can still make it.
Is the key to saving your life.
The first 30 to 60 seconds is when you have to get out of that vehicle.
That's leading researcher Gordon Giesbrecht, who says it's too late to try to push a door open when the car's underwater. So this Florida dive team shows what can be done.
Okay, guys, ready to go.
The reason you can't open the door when the car goes underwater is you've got an air bubble in there and there's the air pressure. And it's the same as if you take a glass inside of the water in your sink and you turn it upside down and you try and lift it, you will notice there's a diving bell created inside your glass and it creates a vacuum. Same thing. You can't open the door in your car when it goes underwater until the water is equal to the water on the outside. In other words, you got no more air left in there to play with. Then you can try it. But all the examples say your odds of surviving because of the energy it takes you to push the door open is good luck.
Start the clock in real time. A second after hitting the water, seatbelts off, then windows down. Within 8 seconds, both front seat passengers are out.
When you go in the water, the very first thing you do, take your seatbelt off. Bam, touching water. Ooh, it's a little moist outside. Take off your seatbelt immediately. Unlock your door immediately. Because again, the electrical stuff, it's not going to work for very long. Some of the reports say it can last up to 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes. That's not very long, especially when you're freaking out. Do it instantly. Seatbelt off. Number one, get those windows down before it's too late.
Water now rushing in the backseat. Passengers scramble. In some cars like this one, rear windows won't roll down all the way. The escape is out the front. Everyone is safe, all in under 20 seconds.
Because they knew what they were doing, and he admits to that.
Here again, in slow motion, Jeff, who was in the backseat.
It was very intimidating. The car went down quicker than I thought it would. I had a real inflow of water. I had to work against it to get out, but it can't be done.
The point is, everybody knew what they were supposed to do. Get your seatbelt off, open the window, period, and then get out.
It's simple.
Now, you'll notice he had a crank window. He didn't have an electric window. If you still drive a car that's got a crank window, you're going to be fine. All the more reason to not panic. Just take the seatbelt off, roll the window down, get out. I'll give you more information coming up for what to do if you do it in the dark, because the rules change when it's dark.
But crucial. And what about kids? Same scenario here with test dummies. Again, seatbelts off, windows open. Unstrap the oldest child first, the youngest last. That's your best chance of getting the children out safely.
And again, this has to be practiced. That ain't going to happen for free. And your kids need to be aware of what's happening, so because you're all going to be freaking out. This has to be practiced. If not in the car, then verbally. I would recommend if you have kids, practice it in the car. Oh, but the odds of it happening are so small. Yeah, that's always true in accidents. And remember, the definition of panic is not knowing what to do. If you practice and you know what to do, you got a much greater chance. So you get those kids out. They want you to get the big kids out first because they're going to be cooperative. Then they want you to take the little kid out and take them in your arms. They don't tell you in any of these reports, but I'm going to tell you, as you do that, you run a really good chance of dying with that little kid. Every parent's going to do it anyways, and that's fine, and you should. But the seconds matter.
They got out this window in 21 seconds. And if you can't get the window down, you'll need a backup, an inexpensive window brake tool. All right.
And that's how you get out if you have an electric car with the electric locks and the electric windows. Buy that little toy. It's $10 to $15 currently. Who knows when you watch this video. And you have to have it on your keychain. You have to have it within reach. You can't be digging through the glove box. You can't be digging anywhere. Remember, when you smash into the water, if you've got it set someplace where the inertia is going to shove it around, you have to have it immediately accessible because we're dealing with 60 seconds. That's a 6 and a 0. That ain't much. Okay? So, if you have an electric one, do that. Some of the videos talk about taking your shoes off and kicking the windows to break it. Whatever you do, you can't do the front windshield because the front windshield has that plexiglass. It's got the stuff to protect it, so you're not getting through it. So you have to do the passenger side or the driver's side. And, if you get cut and you live, okay? Don't worry about getting cut. Worry about getting out.
Take a look when I gave it a try. You don't have to be strong. Anyone can do it. These Brits tests are leading to it.
And it sounds like it's a bullet. No, it's spring charged. And let's see if she's wearing gloves. She's wearing gloves because it does cut you. But hello, you're trying to save your life. But yeah, you're going to get cut.
Take a look when I gave it a try. You don't have to be strong. Anyone can do it.
And she's wearing a thick shirt too because you will get cut.
Tell anyone in a sinking car, get out now. Lisa Stark, ABC News, Naples, Florida.
So that's what you do. You undo those seat belts. You roll that window down and you get out. Let's see if this has anything special. And then I want to tell you what you do when it's dark. Okay, so yeah, if you're the driver, brace for impact. Keep your elbows relaxed so you don't break your arms. If you're the passenger, lean back against the headstand for the airbags. And yeah, because if you tilt over, there's a good chance those airbags are going to break your neck. I don't know if you've ever studied airbags, but it turns out they're way, way more dangerous and kill more people. And safety belts are far safer. Airbags were a good idea that really suck. It's kind of like the whole idea of the school shootings and doing lockdowns. We've had enough school shootings to know that lockdowns actually trap you. If there's a shooting going on, an active shooter as we call them in the modern era, get out, run away, get far, far away. Do not hide anywhere. Get out. Take your chances. Because if you trap yourself in the bathroom, I mean, how many examples do we need of people trapped here, trapped there, hiding? It's like, run, get away. Lockdown is turned out to not be a good choice. Airbags turned out to be a not good choice. But let's get back to preventing yourself from drowning. Boom, unlock that seatbelt. Get that window down. And here's the device, and you can use this, but seconds matter, so practice this. If not in real life, then in your head. Now, what do you do if it's dark? Because they say get out and follow the bubbles if you're not sure which way to go. That's not going to work in the dark. And sadly, there's been many cases where people have swung. They went deeper in the water. So what you need to do is, particularly if it's dark and you don't know which way is up, once you get out of the vehicle, don't do anything. There's air in your lungs. That's going to lift you to the surface. It's not going to do it quickly, but let it start lifting you. Once you get motion and you get momentum going the correct way because your lungs are pulling you up, then you can start paddling to get you the rest of the way to the surface. If it's daylight, you can follow the bubbles. You can kick off the car to get an extra boost. But again, if it's dark, let your lungs pull you higher. Okay, once you're out and safe, it says you can call 911 then. I guess you have to have one of those smartphones that are waterproof, obviously. So that's how you get out in the dark. Because, yeah, see, they say call 911 when you're out. Okay, I guess you've got a waterproof phone. Maybe they all are now. I don't know. I don't dwell on that. This is the example from Popular Mechanics, and they talk about this bridge going down. Rule 1, don't call 911. You've only got a few seconds. Rule 2, get that seat belt off. Rule 3, break that window, roll that window down. Get out of the window, not the front window. And this is the one where it says $10 or $15. And then, what does it say? Children first. Get the big kids first, then the babies. And to swim, let's see, get out, swim through the broken window as fast as possible. And then they show you the example that was ABC used. So that's what you got to do, so that you don't land up in the tragedy that these poor women did. We hope this is helpful to you. We hope you enjoyed the content, and if you did, feel free to like, subscribe, come on back anytime. You're always welcome here as part of the family, and we'll see you in the future.